Welcome to the People's Podcast, an employer's resource by Group Management Services. I'm your host, Alyse Kimball.
This podcast does not constitute legal or financial advice. Its accuracy, completeness, or adequacy is not guaranteed. Use the information at your own risk. Consult an attorney or financial advisor before taking any action.
Hello and welcome back to the People's Podcast. My name is Alyse Kimball, Training Development Manager here at GMS, and I am joined with Kelly Summers today. Kelly Summers is our Presales Solution Architect, or AKA, as our salespeople like to say, the demo girl here at GMS, and so I'm very happy to have you on.
Thank you.
Today,
Happy
Kelly.
to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so nice for you to join us, and you traveled from Columbus to be here. So
yes.
Thank you again.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to be talking about all things HRIS systems today, or HR technology.
Mm-hmm.
First and foremost, what is an HRIS system?
HRIS stands for Human Resource Information System. So it's really a platform that streamlines all things employee management, payroll. Some can have timekeeping, benefits. So you're putting all of this information in one place to better manage employees and allow them even a little bit of self-service and viewing of their information.
Okay. So I read a statistic actually online today when I was doing a little bit of research, and 74% of businesses now are using some sort of HR technology to manage their employees. So if you are a small business getting started, or maybe you're a small business who maybe doesn't utilize an HRIS system yet for employee management, other things, what were some capabilities that you would probably want to look for from a partner in that space?
Mm-hmm. I would say it depends on what services do you want to offer. Do we want timekeeping? Do we want benefits? And then look for a platform that has all of those under one roof. So for example, with ours, you get your timekeeping, your benefits, everything all in the same platform. So you're not importing data from one place and exporting data to another. We have everything in one system. It's easier to manage. And there's less, communication and manual effort to update other platforms that you might be using.
Nice. I'm hearing a lot of efficiency there.
Yes.
Kind of streamlining, efficiency, which is always a time saver for sure. It sounds like we're talking a lot of streamlining, a lot of efficiency, creating efficiencies, maybe even getting rid of vendors. Consolidating vendors, like a timekeeping system. If it was separate from your payroll, could you combine that into one then?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So that's always time savings, right? Which we
Yes.
love as business owners. We always want some time back. What other things, other than time savings, what other things could an HRIS system help a business with?
Yes, so it can help keep them compliant. So we're putting all employees through the same onboarding process. So they're all completing the same documents. There's nothing that we're piecemealing together. And because a lot of times business owners, when they're just starting, they are having employees complete all of their new hire packet information on paper. And, there's different documents that might be included, changes to handbooks. So having all of that electronically is going to keep them compliant, keep all employees completing those same forms, and then, efficiently getting them right into the system.
Nice. So I know you mentioned payroll, you mentioned timekeeping. We mentioned onboarding just now. Could the system kind of have the capability to handle benefits onboarding or enrollment?
Yes.
So talk to me a little bit about that.
Yes. So an HRIS can also have benefits included. So if the employee, let's say, is offered benefits 30 days after the point of hire, they could go through the onboarding process, fill out all of their tax information, their I-9, and then the benefits enrollment can kick right off from there. So the employer isn't doing anything to initiate that process or keep track of, who's completed benefits enrollment, who hasn't. It's automatically going to be kicked off. They'll enroll in all of their benefits. That then sets up the deductions to the employee, the billing to the employer. They don't have to pay any extra bills. It's all baked into the same platform and on their invoice for payroll.
That's amazing.
I think great.
Yeah, as a HR manager, if I was listening to this podcast, I'd be like, whew, that
Yes.
is a weight off my plate. And I love that. It's just a huge time saver. It sounds like it's just really like you set it up the way you want it to be set up, and then it kind of runs in the background without you having to worry about it.
Yes.
So.
Yes. And then another nice thing too is in terms of compliance is, let's say we're running payroll in a new year, there was a minimum wage change. A lot of times that's built into the platform. So it's going to notify you if there was a minimum wage increase, and you need to reflect that in your employees' pay as well.
That's amazing. So compliance, right? That's a big part of it. Kind of managing like not only employee compliance, but I'm sure compliance even from the benefit standpoint as well. So when it comes to compliance, what are some things that an HRIS system should be set up in order to handle? So I know that maybe it's file audits. So we're maybe auditing an employee's file, keeping FLSA standards for certain documentation. Other than that, what else are we kind of helping with?
So we can look at overtime. Are we paying overtime appropriately? So after 40 hours a week, are the next hours that they're working going towards overtime?
Yeah.
That's another piece. Document storage. So having all of those documents securely stored in the platform, you're going to have their I-9, their tax forms, maybe there's a handbook sign off. So all of those pieces you're going to have stored within the employee profile.
Yeah, and that is a huge part of just employee management that I think a lot of people don't realize that your HR system and your partner should be doing that for you.
Yes.
Wonderful. So if I was a new business looking at HRIS systems and I really didn't know this one from this one, what would be some really good questions I would want to ask like a vendor partner when I'm doing a demo when it comes to system capabilities or what that system can do for my business?
So if you are looking at extra services like timekeeping, learning management, onboarding, the number one question I would ask is, how are those streamlined? Are they all in the same platform?
Okay.
Am I looking at, maybe my payroll is on one platform, but timekeeping is, with a third party?
Gotcha.
Those are the questions I would ask, because sometimes your payroll company or your PEO, they might be using different providers. And it's going to benefit the employer to have everything under one roof, one platform. So that would be one question. Another thing too is payroll specific. Payroll can be all over the place. There's different ways that people pay employees. There's different ways people pay employees. There's hourly, salary, commission.
Yep.
And you want to make sure that either the timekeeping or the payroll platform can accommodate all of that. Are we doing shift differentials? You want it to be as automated as possible so that you as the employer or the payroll manager aren't going in and doing anything manually after employees have clocked their hours.
Absolutely. So we talked about the business owner side from the management piece, but I think a lot of times we don't really think about like the user experience, right, of the system. What are you, as you do demos, what are you hearing maybe from some users of the system about what they want? What are some things that they want from an HRIS system?
They want to have employees to be able to go in and view their own information.
Gotcha.
Rather than always having to come to the HR manager or the payroll manager to see a check stub or a W-2. They want the employees to have some sort of self-sufficiency when it comes to accessing this data.
Yeah.
So when you do have an HRIS platform, the employee will be able to access their check stubs, W-2s. They can make changes to their taxes, change their address. So all of these pieces, rather than going to somebody to make the change, they can do all of that themselves.
Yes, some autonomy, right?
Yes.
I think that's wonderful because having that like just constant load on the HR manager to manage PTO requests or
that too.
to like make direct deposit changes or to understand when somebody's eligible for open enrollment. That's a lot to manage on a day-to-day basis. And so if you can give some onus back to your employees, I really do feel like that leaves that kind of off your HR manager's plate and gives them more capability and capacity to focus on, the business needs.
Absolutely. And people often are scared or afraid to let employees have access to all of this information, or maybe they're not technologically advanced, so they're worried that employees aren't going to utilize the system.
Yes.
So we often find that once we give them access, they really do enjoy it. They're using it more than the employer thought they would, and it benefits both parties. employees.
Love that. And I know a lot of employees use their phones now to do these things.
Yes.
I want to talk about like that would be maybe a good question to ask for a vendor partner. Like, hey, are we able to use our phone to, our employees, are they able to use their phone for PTO requests or to view their pay stubs, things like that. So having some sort of app, having some sort of browser capability on your phone, I think is huge as well. Even clocking out.
Yes, yes. And all of that can be baked into that mobile app. So just like ours, they can open up that mobile app, clock their time, request PTO, even pull up a check stub. So they have hands-on access to do all of that directly from the mobile app, even down to benefits enrollment. And with GMS, we even have it so that they can see their insurance card in the mobile app. So it really keeps things right there for employees, easy to access.
Love that. So I know you do a lot of demos for our sales team and our sales process, the demo lady friends. So what are some of our prospects and maybe even new clients saying about our system?
I find that especially when they're looking at different PEOs, they are always impressed by how many services we have within our HRIS. You add the employee, they're automatically added to performance management, to timekeeping. They don't have to move them to another system to manage that information. And I find that that is the number one thing that they're very impressed and really enjoy about our GMS Connect HRIS.
That's great. I think just the usability of it, the user experience,
Yes.
the ability to find things quickly. Let's talk a little bit about implementation too. I think that is such a huge point of contention for a lot of people switching HRIS systems. You can correct me if I'm wrong. But it's just like, I don't want to have disruption in my business. And I don't want this to be a heavy load for my employees to switch different HRIS systems. Can you talk a little bit about the process for switching from GMS specifically? What does that kind of look like? Do we do any sort of training for managers, for employees on the system? And how does that process kind of look?
Yes. So one of the ways GMS really stands out is with our implementation process. We build a full project plan for the customer to go through everything that they need. What trainings will they be attending? What do we need for reports? And there's a full checklist that's clearly laid out so that they know what to expect for implementation. And they have hands-on one-on-one trainings with an implementation specialist. So they'll be able to, see their own employees, their own payroll timesheet, and really go through how is this going to look when they're on their own using the system. So we give them thorough trainings, multiple trainings, and even running the first payroll together to really, really make sure that they're comfortable.
I think that's awesome. It's nice to have like a plan in place that they can kind of see what the next step is going to be.
Yes.
So they're able to kind of prepare that for their teams for that, and then also their management staff as well. So I think that's excellent, and I think that's one of the biggest things people kind of fear when they are switching systems.
Yes,
right?
It is a big concern.
Yes.
Because it can be a lot of work, but we do our best to make it, as easy as possible on the payroll manager or whomever's responsible for leading that change.
Yeah, and it's nice to have that support team behind you as well.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about security, because I think that is such an important thing to ask your future HRIS system and your vendor. Like, what kind of security measures do you have in place to keep my information and my employees' information secure? So I actually read that 80% of prospects, when they're looking at a HRIS system, they are actually looking for a system that has all the information in the cloud. And I think that's really the future of HRIS systems now. Everything needs to be protected and kind of in the cloud so it's backed up at all times. What does our system kind of look like when it comes to that?
So we do use a cloud so we do use Microsoft Azure cloud-based security, and we are SOC 1 certified. We also have, for every login, you either have to have your face scan on when you're logging into the app, or fingerprint, or there's multi-factor authentication with security questions. So we do, and it's not something we can remove. So security really is at the forefront of our platform and something that's very important to us at GMS.
That sounds awesome. it's always nice to know that all of your information is secure and you don't have to worry about breaches.
Yes.
So I think that's great. I would highly recommend. We do have a podcast too, if you want to go back and listen to it. But we do have a podcast too, talking about how to back up your information and security and making sure that your employees' information is protected. So if you want to reference that one and from the past, please go back and review that. The final question I have for you today, Kelly, is let's talk about customizations. So I think this is a big ask from a lot of prospects when we're talking to them about what do you want out of an HRIS system. They're like, well, we need this customized report, or we need our payroll to do this or that. I'm seeing that a lot more and more. Even kind of like, hey, does your HRIS system, can it talk to my accounting system? So even some of those kind of things, the technology I think is very big for people when they're looking to purchase from a new vendor. Mm-hmm. So talk a little bit about that. What are some things that our system, our GMS Connect system, has the capacity to do from that kind of integration standpoint, and as well as what kind of robust reporting, or can they get customized things built up for them?
Yes. So there are a lot of areas that we can customize within the HRIS. So we can add company logos to the employee profile, to the manager profile, just to really give the feel that it's their platform.
Okay.
We can also build in documents. So if there's equipment sign off, maybe company credit card usage sign off, those items that are custom to that business, handbook sign off, those sorts of items, we can build that into onboarding so that it's speaking to that company specifically. And it could even be split by the different positions within that company that we can customize how the onboarding documents look. We touched a little bit about performance management. So we can build completely custom performance reviews. So it could be an exit interview, it could be a 90-day review. Any sort of performance related item, we can build out a full questionnaire pertaining to that specific review. So that's going to be a piece that's very custom as well.
I love that.
Yes. And then for reporting, we have report builders that we can piece all of the different items that they want to show on a report. And it's, kind of like an ad hoc report builder that the clients have at their fingertips. We can also create a customized general ledger report for their accounting to help them reconcile their payroll. It's going to be split specifically by their accounting. So all the different accounts that they use, it will spit that out specifically for their accounting platform. Wow. So yes, and we do have an integration with QuickBooks Online, so they don't have to have that in a report. That could be a direct integration for accounting.
That's fantastic, because I think there's not a lot of systems that actually integrate with QuickBooks. So
yes, it can be a tricky one.
I know, very much so. Love that. So a couple things here, and I lied about this being my last question. Don't trust me, Kelly. Couple questions. One is, I just want to know, what is your favorite feature of GMS Connect? What's your favorite feature?
Oh.
Since you're in it all day, every day, and you're kind of going through all the different things and then making it sing for our prospects and clients, what are some of your favorite capabilities that it has?
Something we haven't talked about, I really like that there is what is called e-forms. So there might be a time where outside of onboarding, you need to collect updated handbook sign-offs, or maybe even a write-up for HR. We can build that document electronically so that it's sent to the employee. They sign off. It's all captured electronically and stored in also their electronic documentation storage.
Wow.
So that's one of my favorite pieces. I think that's not something that you see in a lot of systems, and it just keeps things really easy. The manager can click the form, click the employee, and that form is sent off.
Wow, that's awesome. So
Yes.
that could be like for safety trainings. It could be for
Anything. Yeah.
really anything they complete. So that's excellent. I even saw the other day, because we were talking about safety in a previous podcast, that our system has the capability to even remind like an HR manager or a manager if like a safety training is coming up, or an employee needs to complete something. It doesn't have to be safety training, complete something, a certification, whatever the case may be, by a certain date. So it actually will remind them for future dates, so you don't have to remember those things.
Yes.
Which is great.
Yep. You just get it right to your email.
That's fantastic. I know I can never remember those things myself. So What is any client success stories that you feel you would like to share with our audience? Anything that you can kind of think of?
Yeah, recently we had a prospect that they required very extensive reports.
Okay.
And we went, back and forth meeting, and we met, I believe, 5 times, just going through reports, really making sure we gave them exactly what they were looking for. And by the end of our meeting, they felt confident with all of the reporting we could provide. We walked through exactly what their payroll process would look like, gave them a sample suite of reports. They felt very satisfied and excited to move forward, and now they're running payroll with us today.
That's excellent. Perfect. Well, thank you so much for your time, Kelly, today. It was such a pleasure having you on the podcast. And if we have a business owner listening to the podcast today, maybe they're unhappy with their current HRIS system, they're looking for a new partner, where could they maybe reach out to us?
Yes, they can go to our website. We have a way that you can submit your contact information. We'd put you in contact with our sales team, and then hopefully I meet you for a demo.
That would be wonderful.
Yes.
Well, thank you again. I hope our listeners come back again for our next People's Podcast. Once again, my name is Alyse Kimball. Thank you so much. Thank you for tuning into the People's Podcast. We hope you found today's discussion helpful. Stay tuned for more insights in our next episode. For more expert guidance and resources on small business management, PEOs, and more, give our podcast a follow. Find us on social media or visit us at groupmanagement.com. That's groupmgmt.com. We're dedicated to helping small businesses everywhere make their operations simpler, safer, and stronger.